Hi, I'm Jeff Strauss. I'm the founder of the Leadership Bootcamp, a leadership skills training company, which you can learn more about at leadershipbootcamp.com. I'm also a doctoral student in the Organizational Change and Leadership program at the University of Southern California, and I've been a leader of high-performance individuals and teams in the tech sector for over a decade. In this video, I'm going to talk a bit more about my leadership philosophy, particularly about the responsibilities and expectations I hold myself to as they relate to managing myself and my team. Please forgive my nasally and gravelly voice. I'm getting over a cold and I haven't quite reached the attractive phase of raspiness yet. My first point today is transparency. I've spoken before about the importance of transparency in decision making and how it relates to institutional and procedural justice, and you can learn more about these two concepts in my video on employee engagement, and how a greater sense of transparency generally leads to higher performance across a few key performance indicators. In practice, I model transparency in a couple of specific ways. First, I share information openly as often as I can, trusting my team with important details that I feel may have an impact on their work or conversations we have about planning our work. Only when I truly need to withhold information do I do so. I found that when really reflecting on it, it's not often I have to withhold information for the good of the company or our team. It's quite rare. What I share with the team is a synthesis of information I have from several sources: executive discussions about future company plans, decisions, or directions, conversations I have with other leaders around the company during my monthly one-on-ones with them, even tidbits I pick up during larger group conversations. Even if the information I'm sharing isn't immediately applicable to my team, the fact that I'm sharing it has important implications. It builds trust, it enables more robust and thoughtful conversations, and it's an opportunity for those further removed from the decision makers to understand how and why decisions are being made and why they're important. Finally, it helps develop organizational awareness and context. And that's my second point. Closely related to, and in fact somewhat based on transparency, is my responsibility to ensure organizational awareness and context for my team. I haven't always been good at this, and in fact, I'm improving in this area even now. But providing an awareness of what's going on at different levels and in different areas of the company based on my vantage point is crucial to my team's understanding and my understanding of how my team's work fits into the bigger plans of our company and how that could even have an impact on our customers. Highlighting that the work of our humble team could have an impact on our company's bottom line is an inspiring message, especially when everyone on the team is aligned with the mission and vision of the company. In my own practice, I'm reminded to bring this awareness regularly by one of my teammates, Dan, who asks me at every one-on-one if there's any news from the top. As we embark on the second quarter of our fiscal year, the rubber meets the road by me sharing what our Q2 objectives are at the company level and how our work directly impacts some of them. Having our work be meaningful beyond our team, impacting and benefiting others in a way that can move the needle on a company level objective is a strong, unifying, and inspiring force. Another strong, unifying, and inspiring force is having a vision and raison d'être for your team. My apologies to all of my Francophone viewers. Whenever I join a team as a leader, one of my first orders of business is to rally the team and create a mission, vision, and set of tenets or values together. This isn't an easy process, and it usually takes a couple weeks while we define, refine, and codify, but in my view, it's an incredibly important exercise. Quite honestly, I recommend you having your own mission, vision, and values on a personal level, but by having them on a team level, they can act as a barometer of how you approach and perform your work. For example, some of my team's tenets include: we have conversations and not confrontations. We focus on what is right, not who is right. Another is: we celebrate success and share failure to learn and improve. And yet another is: we develop meaningful partnerships and thorough understanding of problem spaces. These aren't just platitudes. We use these to guide how we interact with one another, our colleagues, and how we approach our work. Over time, our tenets have become our ethos. We openly share successes and failures, knowing that both are learning opportunities, not opportunities to gloat or be punished. We're known throughout our company for being easy and competent to work with because we've developed meaningful partnerships and thorough understandings of the problems we're working on. And our tenets allow us to work in a way that we can be proud of by giving us the permission to ask one another, are you openly sharing a failure so we can all learn, or are we being a good partner in this situation? Finally, having a mission, vision, and values on a team level is really important if they don't exist at the company level. Many of us are lucky enough to work at companies that do have a mission and vision, and those can augment your own or your team's. Next, advocacy and reputation. I consider it not only a pleasure, but also a duty to advocate for my team and enhance and protect our reputation. I'm proud to be part of my team, and I'm proud of the work we do. And whenever I have the opportunity, I share our accomplishments to reinforce that our team can be trusted, relied upon, and partnered with. One powerful way we advocate for ourselves and build our relationships is with our monthly newsletter. We share our successes, failures, future plans, and metrics, and one of my favorite sections is what we call the voice of the customer, where we solicit feedback in video or written form from some of our close partners around the company and put it in our newsletter. Advocacy and reputation building isn't a superficial endeavor. We have to put in and maintain the effort to continue building and keeping the trust of our colleagues. But having a highly engaged team, energized and challenged by the work we're doing, and motivated and inspired by our own personal and professional development, and by helping our customers succeed, our company succeed rather, and our customers, makes that effort totally worth it. And I want to be proud of the team that I'm on, that it has a good reputation, that people like working with us and know who we are, and that people know we work hard and do a good job. That's inspiring to me. Next, and finally, thoughtfulness and asking the right questions. So my friend and colleague Karen gave me a nice compliment recently. We were in a meeting discussing a new project, and I was asking a few questions about some of the topics. She told me afterwards that I was like a marriage counselor, asking questions that got all the participants thinking about the topic in different ways. As a child of divorced parents, I didn't know how to take it, but she assured me that it was a compliment. I appreciate it because it speaks to another part of my leadership philosophy that I hold in high regard: being thoughtful and asking the right questions. For me, these qualities didn't come easy, and I'm certainly not saying that I do them well all the time. More often than not, I reflect on how unthoughtful I was about something, and that helps me inform future interactions. For me, thoughtfulness is derived from being aware that whatever we're discussing exists in a bigger context than what we're discussing, and trying to view that context from the perspectives of people and groups that could be involved. For example, if we're deploying a new technology, it's common to discuss what it could solve for us and our immediate surrounding teams, but what does it mean for the processes and workflows of other teams? Could it impact the work we or our partners will try to do with other businesses or their customers? Could what we're doing have an impact on revenue by way of negatively affecting productivity or otherwise altering established processes? Viewed from 10,000 feet, are we solving for an edge case or a real systemic problem? To strengthen these skills in myself, my primary workout is reading. My team has heard me say, I just read something and I want to try an experiment. Let me know if this is insane. I could wax poetic about the number of business books I've read, but honestly, some of my best insights have come from history books, behavioral economics books, even books about cognitive behavioral therapy. Being able to learn something from anywhere is something I mentioned in my last leadership philosophy video, and it's one of the reasons I never stop reading a book no matter how bad it is. And I've picked up some real stinkers. There's always something that can be learned in a book, even if it's a turn of phrase I like, and it's not necessarily information. In the description of this video, I'll link a few books that I really like. Now, on the topic of asking good questions, I'll be brief. It takes skill to ask good questions, and the art can be learned. I've mentioned in another video that my team and I have done question storming exercises where a big question is posed and statements on how to solve it aren't allowed. only questions can be asked to try to get to a more beautiful question or the real root of the issue. I learned this exercise in a book called A More Beautiful Question, which I'll link in the description. One must be careful not to ask questions simply for the sake of it, because those can be unproductive at best or totally derailing at worst. There's also a fine line between philosophizing and inquiring as to the nature of things and asking questions that help drive conversations forward, and one should be aware of that line and when best to cross it or not cross it. Okay, that again is it for me today. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you found this useful.